In a world where political correctness and celebrity narratives reigned supreme, Karoline Leavitt wasn't afraid to stand out. She wasn't afraid to take on Hollywood's sacred cows. Hollywood, where stars once shone brightest as advocates of love, equality, and progress, was about to get a harsh wake-up call. The unspoken truth about atheism in the industry was now being exposed. Karoline wasn't here to sugarcoat anything. Her message was loud and clear: no filter, no mercy. But why did she choose to target Hollywood? Why now? And what made Karoline Leavitt, a politician with a rapidly rising profile, challenge the narratives of one of the most influential industries in the world? Let's break it down, step by step, how Karoline Leavitt turned the tables on Hollywood's atheist agenda and made them face the truth they've long hidden. For decades, Hollywood has been known for promoting a very specific agenda. Among the many liberal causes, there's been a consistent, underreported narrative: atheism. It's not just about lack of belief in God, it's about a refusal to acknowledge a moral code beyond personal willpower or social influence. In many circles, it's been a quiet, accepted stance, particularly among A-list celebrities who speak out on nearly every issue except one: religion. For them, religious beliefs are outdated, impractical, or even dangerous. Yet, despite this anti-faith posture, Hollywood claims to embrace tolerance, inclusivity, and compassion. Karoline Leavitt was tired of this contradiction. She was fed up with the hypocrisy of Hollywood's elites, using their platform to criticize faith while ignoring the deep philosophical flaws in their own beliefs. It was time for a reckoning. And who better to lead this charge than Karoline herself? It all began on a quiet afternoon when Karoline Leavitt took to her social media platforms. She'd been vocal about many issues, but this one hit a nerve like never before. Her message was direct: Hollywood's love affair with atheism is not the sign of enlightenment they think it is. It's a denial of something much bigger than themselves, a refusal to acknowledge the higher moral standard that has shaped civilizations for thousands of years. Enough with the fake narrative. Let's expose the truth. Her words spread like wildfire. Supporters, many of whom were disillusioned with the rampant anti-faith sentiment in entertainment, applauded her for having the courage to speak the truth. Critics, however, wasted no time in branding her as out of touch or backward. The media response was swift and intense. Celebrities from all corners of Hollywood rallied against her, calling her comments outdated and dangerous. A-list actors, directors, and influencers who championed free thought and freedom of expression now found themselves at odds with a politician who refused to back down. But Karoline didn't flinch. She wasn't going to let Hollywood dictate the terms of the conversation. The more they mocked her, the more she doubled down. "No one said you can't be successful without faith," Karoline remarked in one of her later interviews. But there's a huge difference between rejecting faith and attempting to impose an atheistic agenda on an entire generation. At this point, Karoline's fight wasn't just against Hollywood's elite. It was a battle for what she called cultural integrity. She wasn't going to stand by while Hollywood continued to frame atheism as the correct worldview while pretending that everyone else was either ignorant or out of touch. Karoline had always maintained that belief in God, whether in a traditional religious sense or through some other form of spirituality, is not just a personal choice, but a moral compass that guides many in society. She spoke out for the millions of Americans who felt alienated by Hollywood's elite, who appeared to be using their platform to correct what they perceived as the moral wrongs of the world. But her stance wasn't about bashing atheism. It was about creating a space for honest dialogue. "I'm not telling anyone they should follow a particular religion," she said, "but I am saying that there's a difference between belief in something bigger than yourself and rejecting the concept of moral truth altogether. Hollywood seems to think they have the corner on truth. But when you look at their track record of moral failings, it's clear that their version of truth is anything but reliable." She made it clear that she wasn't speaking against personal belief systems. She was speaking out against the organized atheistic agenda that had permeated the entertainment industry, a movement that seemed intent on demonizing people of faith. Of course, Hollywood wasn't about to let Karoline's remarks slide without a fight. The celebrities who'd built their careers around their supposed moral superiority were now scrambling to defend their positions. Late-night talk show hosts cracked jokes at her expense, calling her out of touch and Mayan and Sir. The jokes faze her. Instead, she hit back with precision. When the elites of Hollywood attack me, they're not just attacking me, they're attacking the millions of Americans who feel as though they don't belong in a world that's increasingly intolerant of their faith, Karoline explained in a passionate speech that made national headlines. For Karoline, it was personal. She wasn't just defending her position on faith, she was defending the values she believed were essential for the strength of the nation. As the days passed, the media storm surrounding Karoline's comments only grew stronger. Hollywood's elite had turned their criticism into a full-on assault, and the pressure began to mount. Karoline's political career had always been marked by her willingness to speak uncomfortable truths, but now she found herself at the center of a cultural battleground. Her supporters were with her every step of the way. Online forums and social media exploded with hashtags like Expose Hollywood, Drew Faith Over Fake, and Karoline Leavitt Truth, spreading her message far and wide. Yet the louder Hollywood became, the more people began to question whether the elite really did have the moral high ground. Could their constant announcement of faith really be the enlightened position? Or was it a narrative designed to silence those who believed differently? In an epic public address, Karoline decided to set the record straight once and for all. With millions watching, she took the stage and laid out her case. It's time we stop pretending that Hollywood's narrative is anything but a carefully crafted agenda designed to undermine traditional American values. They've spent years preaching about tolerance, yet their intolerance towards people of faith speaks louder than anything else. Karoline's speech was measured but fiery. She spoke of the families who'd been demonized for their beliefs, of the churches that had been mocked, and of the children who'd been fed lies about the value of faith. She revealed the truth. The real agenda behind Hollywood's promotion of atheism wasn't about reason or logic. It was about creating a moral vacuum in which anything could be sold as acceptable. This isn't about free thought. This is about erasing the moral backbone of a nation, Karoline declared. By the time Karoline's speech ended, the reaction was overwhelming. Some criticized her for being too blunt, but the majority praised her for speaking the truth. Hollywood's facade had cracked, and the narrative that had been so carefully constructed over the years was now under serious scrutiny. Karoline Leavitt had made her mark not just as a politician, but as a voice for millions of Americans who felt that their beliefs had been sidelined in the pursuit of fame and power. Karoline Leavitt's powerful message about Hollywood's atheist agenda will echo for years to come. By speaking out, she made it clear that Hollywood's enlightened stance wasn't as progressive as they thought. Instead, it was a carefully crafted narrative designed to fit a certain image. She didn't just expose the hypocrisy of the elites, she gave the voiceless a platform to speak up. And for that, she'll always be remembered as a voice of truth in a world full of noise. If you agree with Karoline Leavitt's message, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Let's spread the word about the real truth behind Hollywood's agenda and help expose the narrative they've been hiding for so long. Make sure to subscribe for more content like this and join the movement for truth and faith in the public sphere.